asked my daughter if the $1,400 I sent each month was enough when I returned from medical deployment for Christmas. She appeared confused. The money? My parents paled. My sister switched topics. I didn't shout. I did it. A door knock followed 3 days later. Turkey was dry. It was always. I said nothing. 6 months on deployment earned me this: lukewarm stuffing, fluorescent cranberry slices, and my childhood brittle silence disguised as tradition. Daughter sat across from me at the table. 18, first year of medical school. She had my eye bags. Same posture. Keep your back straight to avoid falling asleep or falling apart. Maybe both. She looked good. Tired, but good. That kind of tired that means you're working hard and haven't quit. I wondered if my monthly $1,400 was enough. My daughter blinked. What? The cash I sent while away. Just a little head tilt. The money? The $1,400 I sent. Every month. Her fork froze, then fell. Simply enough to make a sound. Like someone turned up the lights. My mom flinched across the table. My dad shifted in his chair. Sister became interested in wine, suddenly. That to me? My daughter asked. I nodded. Yes, I did. Rent, food, books. Please, concentrate on school. I thought you couldn't afford it, she said. Grandma said, quieter. My sister chirped too loudly and cheerfully. Is that pecan pie there? I thought we skipped dessert. I kept looking. Grandma said. My daughter looked around the table. Simply put, you were stressed. You wanted to help but couldn't. I shouldn't mention it because it'll upset you. The silence afterward was heavy, not dramatic. Like a movie character, my mom dabbered her mouth. Dad took the gravy boat and poured it like the table wasn't burning. My sister coughed and mentioned coffee but didn't move. My daughter said, Wait, you sent it? Yes. To where? Typical story. Grandpa's. He faced them. Not quick, not accusing, just confused. You claimed she was helpless. Mom got up. This is getting annoying. I'll start the kettle. My daughter said, You made me think she didn't care. She didn't yell. Just you realizing. My sister muttered, She's dramatic. She's tired, I said. She survived her first semester of med school thinking I abandoned her. No one spoke. My mother worked on teacups. Dad finally looked up. Sis poured another glass. Daughter sat still, not mad, no crying. I'm stunned. She felt like someone had pulled a rug she didn't know was there. She regarded me. I looked back. At that moment, I knew she saw it. My father swallowed. Maybe we should all breathe. My mom straightened the salt shaker to fix it. Daughter repeated, You said she couldn't afford help. You said she didn't care. She didn't, my sister said, rewriting the story to make herself the hero. Daughter, I worked double shifts. Cracked voice. Wasn't asleep. For God's sake, my mom muttered. You lived. Stop acting sad. She survived her first semester thinking I abandoned her, I said. To that, nobody responded. I rose. My daughter did. She said, I'm coming. I didn't argue. None of them caught my attention. Walked to the door. He followed. None of us spoke in the car, not until my hand stopped shaking a few blocks away. Jaw tight, he stared out the window. I wanted to say anything, but knew better. I was her, sitting beside someone who meant well. Don't fall apart, or you may never recover. I parked at the first gas station under a flickering light. Is it monthly? She asked. Her voice was soft and cautious. Yes, I said. $1,400 for you, $400 for their home. I sent it on the first every month as usual. As told by Grandpa, due to exchange rates. Once she nodded. Looked out the windshield. She didn't blink. Her silence made me wonder what kind of pain it was. Anger? Grief? Some mix of all three? I whispered, You thought I didn't want to help. She remained silent. I almost took her hand but refrained. She wasn't ready for that comfort. Instead, I sat and let the truth sink in. I thought I didn't matter. she whispered. Maybe you were free and didn't want to return. Closed my eyes. No, I said. Never. Two people frozen in a gas station parking lot tried to thaw 10 layers of betrayal for a while. A small hotel on the edge of town was our destination. All else was closed. Christmas, actually. Night clerk asked no questions. No hesitation, I gave him my card and accepted the price. The room was quiet, clean, and yellow lit. One coffee maker that probably hadn't worked since Bush, 2 beds and 2 chairs. My daughter removed her shoes and sat on the bed. I couldn't afford groceries, she said. I sometimes skipped classes to get more hours. Every time I considered asking you, Grandma's voice came to mind. Doing her best. Avoid burdening others. I sat beside her. Close, but untouching. She made asking for help seem like a crime, I said. She nods. So I stopped asking. Swallowed hard. I felt that. I opened the banking portal on my laptop after my daughter went to bed. First, I stopped sending my parents $400 per month. Gone. So I sat there, staring. They stole this from her. What else? My heart raced. The home. My home. The one my sister Tara begged to live in while I was away. Claimed renting was too costly. Promised to handle it, pay the mortgage, keep going so I don't have to worry. A deal was made. That's my only reason for not listing it. Perhaps I had tenants, real ones. Could have made money. I gave my sister the keys and told myself it was fine. Family, yes? I opened the mortgage account online. He stared. Non-payment. Month-long silence. I froze. My brain tried to explain. Maybe the site was glitchy or hadn't updated. It was fine there. Month after month. Payment not received. Sitting with my laptop on my knees, I tried not to vomit. Had she stopped paying, would I have lost the house? My sister's door will be knocked 3 days later. Nothing will be the same again. Rewind. I had no idea how many mothers I had at 5. The rabbit mug one, the menthol smoker, who locked the fridge. I remember smells, ceilings, and dinner words, not names. One woman said, "There aren't enough Duffdusperny." I think it started then. The desire, the possibility that I could be what I needed. Never outgrew it. I was 5.5 when my parents adopted me. They took in a child after years of infertility tests and just relax and it will happen. Not my words. The first year montage was iconic. Brand new toys, warm food, matching pajamas. They were my project and they wanted it right. I learned how to say thanks without prompting. I learned not to cry in fear. Learning to fit in. They tried. Really trying. I call them happy years. I still feel bad for calling them that. The miracle happened. I was 10 when my mom got pregnant, naturally, after hearing it was a 1 in 1,000 chance. She shone. They wept. Neighbors brought casseroles. The birth changed everything. I was extra. The pre-photo. The backstage understudy. Not their intent. People always say that. But when the baby smiled, they applauded. I got an A, they nodded. They ran when she cried. After crying, they asked if I was dramatic. I heard whispers. That saying, "Thank goodness we rescued you from the system." It later became, "You should be grateful we did this for you." I was thankful. I used grades to prove it. Doing chores, in silence. My sister needed no proof. She needed to exist. She had music lessons, birthday parties, and a catalog-style bedroom. I had poster putty and used clothes. I learned from breaking a plate. When I did, it was character flaw. Still, I loved her. Yes, I did. My little sister. She was clueless. College, I didn't ask for help. Never thought of it. Wanting felt greedy. I thought I could do it alone. I predicted romance, working 12-hour shifts and studying late. I envisioned becoming a legend. I was exhausted to the core. I fell asleep waiting for a bus and woke up to a pen-wielding stranger. So I succeeded, just barely. Once I graduated and started working, I felt obligated. They saved me. I bought things, help with groceries, bills, and vacations. I paid part of my sister's college tuition. Unspoken expectation. Our family worked that way. Their deposit slip was my win. Even after I married and moved abroad, money kept coming. Dad's account was optimized for international transfers. Better rates, lower fees. Used it. Every month. In sync. We split up, and my husband was abroad. I didn't. I brought my daughter home. She was fierce, loud, brightened. I had her but little else. I swore she'd never be ignored. She told me she wanted to study medicine at 18. I agreed before she finished.
A moment of panic. Did I risk losing the house? Had they allowed foreclosure? Then I saw a break from hardship. Approved. Registered under my name. No foreclosure. Just a break. A brief exhale. The home was safe. But someone impersonated me, filed paperwork, supposed hardship, faked my identity. Only one person could have done that. A knock at my sister's door followed 3 days later. But first I called. I called Ethan, my friend. I worked ER shifts and quietly paid Ethan's overdue dentist bills when he was a broke law student. Now, a lawyer, with a sharper mind and memory than he claims. He caught on the second ring. He said, "Hello, stranger. Still saving the world one shift at a time?" "Yes," I said, and apparently funding fraud from the sidelines. It caught his attention. After 30 minutes, we sat across from each other at a nearly empty diner. Me in jeans and the same jacket as the airport, Ethan in a mismatched hoodie and coat. I skipped coffee, slid my laptop across the table and opened the folder. Banking data, transfer logs, mortgage pause screenshot. He scrolled again. "She impersonated you? Seems so. This account. Your parents knew the $1,400 was for your daughter?" "Yes, every month. In sync." He read my forwarded messages. Mother thanks me for childcare. Dad confirming the next deposit date. My sister. She thanked nobody, but she definitely cashed it. "Also the house," Ethan asks. I said my agreement is written. While living there, my sister promised to pay the mortgage. Did she sign? I said she typed her name. Electronic contract. I needed a bank record since I was traveling. They needed proof it wouldn't be empty. Ethan nodded slowly. "You have messages stating the $1,400 was for your daughter." "Yes, you see its solidity." "This may be criminal." I watched him. "Will I win?" "You want them jailed or broke. They should stop acting like I owe them everything." He looked at me. Actually looked. He said, "I think we should knock on some doors." We drove to my house the next morning. I felt odd saying that. My home. After months. Over 6 months had passed since I saw it. Renting it was my plan. Maybe sell it. But my sister called crying about how hard it was to find a decent place. So I gave her mine. She has shelter in exchange for mortgage payment like a tenant. She was no longer a tenant, a squatter with credit card theft history. Ethan exited the car with a manila envelope. "Come." Professional, as if Tuesday. Knocked on the door. Opened halfway. I saw my sister blink. A laugh followed. "Well, well, who returned home? I brought you something." She took the envelope, opened. "Eviction notice," she read. "Oh, honey, very cute." Ethan grinned. "Legally binding. Effective 30 days. Rolling her eyes. "Not to worry, I'm leaving anyway. I bought a home." I fixated on her. "You say?" Shrugging. "All done. Keys in hand. Tried to treat myself for Christmas." The boxes behind her caught my attention. Taped shut. Labeled. At least half the house full. She wasn't lying. And I saw them. My parents. In the kitchen. Dishes wrapped. Helping. "What's happening?" I requested. "Everyone's here." My mom said it was normal to help her move. "Sorry, how did she buy a house?" "With cash," my sister said. "You recall that." I went in. Boxes, Tupperware, picture frames. "The deposit came from where?" I requested. My sister smiled. "Not wasting rent money." eyebrow raised by Ethan. The mortgage she owed. She said tomato. I looked at my parents. Okay with this? Dad crossed his arms. She needed housing. It wasn't used. Because I worked hard overseas, I didn't use it, I snapped. I support my daughter. And you? Mom said please, acting like we forced you. You stole her money. My sister bluntly said we needed it more. Your daughter was fine. She worked 2 jobs. Cereal diet. I abandoned her, she thought. She survived, my mom said. Be less dramatic. Ethan moved forward. We'll talk. We'll contact you again. Time for mortgage, theft, and impersonation. Sister rolled her eyes. Go ahead. I moved on. I regarded her. My daughter was rocked. Lied to me. Pretended to be me at a bank. Because you taped boxes, you think this ends? She grinned. My life skills make you jealous. Then I stopped talking. She received the second envelope from Ethan. Thicker. The what? Official request, he said. 6-month mortgage repayment. Returning stolen funds. $16,800 precisely. Also harm. She chuckled. Damages? You impersonated her to pause the loan, he said. My sis shrugged. I halted payments to prevent foreclosure, so you should be grateful. Act like I trashed it. Mom folded her arms. Sister of yours. I faced her. You said I didn't care about my daughter? She acted dramatic. Skipped meals. She was 18. She should mature. I looked around at the woman packing china she didn't own, the man polishing silverware he never bought, and the sister who'd stolen a future and called it moving on. I said, I'll see you in court. I visited my daughter that night. She opened the door, exhausted but calm. She held a paper and a pencil behind her. I apologized for not calling earlier. Stepped aside. It seemed you were suing people? Sitting side by side on her bed, I challenged them. It wasn't denied. She nods. Figured. I also learned they're using your money to buy her a house. Little movement in her face.
Slowly sinking stillness. Okay, she said. Not okay. It makes sense. They always considered me optional. Not to me. I know, she whispered. I surveyed her tiny room. Wall notes, food wrappers, used kettle without lid. I said you'll stop working 2 jobs. I guarantee it. She nods. You hate them? I requested. I don't consider them, she said. No space. I grabbed her hand. She allowed me this time. And we sat. In silence. Unlike before, it felt healing. Not theft, they said. That was their courtroom opening. Their stiff lawyer, wearing an ill-fitting suit, stood up, looked the judge in the eye, and said, Your Honor, the money was a gift. I nearly laughed. Not for humor, because it was so insultingly stupid, I'd scream if I didn't laugh. He claimed $1,400 per month, transferred through grandfather's account? Lacks formalities. Legally, that's a voluntary gift. He looked proud of his logic. As usual, my lawyer stood calmly. We have text messages where the plaintiff says the money is for her daughter's tuition and living expenses. The judge nods. Look at them. We provided screenshots. I said, send her November college money. Same amount as last month. Make sure it reaches her. If I miss the first by a day, please transfer it anyway. Opposing lawyer glanced at texts and pivoted like gymnast. He said, the plaintiff may have intended that, but there's no evidence the recipients agreed to those terms. No legal contract existed. I swear we'd have an eye roll if they were allowed. The real circus followed. My father testified. He approached the pulpit like a preacher, right hand raised, swore to honesty. He pointed out that his daughter is a successful doctor. When she started sending money, we thought it was her thanks. After all, we raised her. We rescued her from system. She wasn't asked to send money. She did it freely. He said it with tears in his eyes. Then my sister testified. If my dad was a sermon, she was a one-woman play. Flipping her hair, she bit lip, spoke softly. I was struggling, she said. I barely made ends meet with my boyfriend. I appreciated her house offer. I promised to pay the mortgage, but it wasn't binding. Lawyer raised eyebrow. Did you agree to pay the mortgage in exchange for living in her home? She checked her shoes. Yes, but that was informal. Sisters assist. The kicker followed. They suggested my hardship pause. Their lawyer said I called my sister to file the pause because I was worried about losing the house. She was abroad, he said. Her sister handled domestic paperwork better. I nearly choked. Lawyer stood. That goes against the mortgage contract, sir. We have a legal recording of the defendant admitting to impersonating the plaintiff at the bank. Judge's head snapped. Try it. So we did. I used my phone. Audio I recorded the night we gave her notice. Her laughter followed by her announcement of a new home. Before knocking, I recorded. Now it blared in court. Voice of Ethan. You posed as her to stop the loan? A smug, bright voice from my sister. I halted payments to prevent foreclosure, so you should be grateful. Act like I trashed it. The room quieted. Her lawyer lowered his pen slowly. That's enlightening, the judge said, reclining. Their case collapsed like a sad party balloon afterward. The judge sided with us. Repayment in full. Damages. Legal fees. Naturally, there was a catch. My sister lacked funds. She used it all for a house down payment. A house she owned but couldn't afford. Her plea was for installments. Hallway crying, promised bankruptcy, claimed unfairness. Judge didn't care. After she failed to pay damages, the judge approved a transfer of ownership 2 weeks later. The house she'd bought and was proud of was mine. Her equity equaled her debt. It took time. No doubt it was satisfying. The house she bought with stolen money became mine instantly. I rang my landlord the next day. 2 houses, 2 tenants, 2 income streams. Called my daughter. She didn't say, I told you. She said, so, we won? I said, we did. I quit my second job, she said. I grinned. Good. You deserve sleep again. She paused. Any objection to keeping the barista one once a week? I kind of like it. Sure, I said. What makes you happy? I returned to deployment for 6 months. I wanted a buffer. Not because I had to. A financial cushion before returning home permanently. Everything changed this time. Rental money went to her directly. Her rent, her food, her textbooks. For once, she wasn't just surviving. And neither was I. Every Sunday, we Zoomed. She showed me her notes, her stethoscope, her tidy, quiet dorm is hers. She sometimes said, it's weird how easy school is now. And I nodded, because I understood her. Breathing feels luxurious when drowning. I returned home 6 months later. A hug in the airport parking lot. No speeches, no weeping, just warmth. She was bright again. Now her eyes weren't tired. A small apartment near her campus was found. No, I didn't live with her, but we had weekly dinners, sometimes more. We discussed her future, about medical school, about specializing, about life, about family, or not. She said, I blocked Grandma, stirring spaghetti. Also Grandpa, and Aunt Tara. Good, I said. Not sad. You shouldn't. Forks were clinked like wine glasses. They bought the house with stolen money. Now it funds her future. As for me, not missing them, not their birthdays, not their fault. not their silence. Some families split, cut others loose. You breathe better either way. I can breathe well for the first time in years. So, did I overstep or not far enough? Some say family is everything. What is family if it ignores your child? I'd like your opinion. Share in the comments. If this story moved you, subscribe and click the bell to stay updated.